Obviously, this truce is shaky. It was shaky from the start. We still have the problem about whether it covers other theaters, like for example Lebanon, which the Israelis adamantly insist it does not. The Iranians insist it must. We've heard talk that it defers the nuclear issue for a while, which is why you had the Mark Levines and other people going bananas over the thing. Whereas then you have other people like Marco Rubio saying, "Oh no, it means zero enrichment. They have to turn over all their uranium dust or whatever kind of stuff they have." And the Iranians are saying no dice on that. I think the Iranians are playing a very clever game here where they are saying the strait is open. We maintain our toll booth here. Again, Trump can't seem to get his story straight on whether open means that the Iranians continue with their toll process or not. I just don't see how this thing can go on for the long term. That incidents like this, I think, will continue to multiply. By the way, the Iranians, by according to the report, shot down one of those Reaper drones that cost, depending on how outfitted, it cost up to like $55 million. I mean, I'm not sure how many more of those things we want to lose. So I think all this happy talk about, oh, we're close to a deal, we're close to a deal, we're close to a deal. I don't think that's true. I think to some extent the Iranians don't mind that Trump is out there spinning tall tales about how close they are to a deal because they're not. Meanwhile, the economic damage from this is going to continue to build up in the Western countries, well, countries all around the world, as oil reserves run out and Trump becomes more and more desperate. The only question that what does he do? Does he actually do the stupidest thing he could possibly do, which is go back to war again? The idea that we can finally deliver a knockout blow and force our terms on the Iranians. I think that's the direction things will go eventually, but it'll be utter catastrophe, not only for the Western economies, but for Trump personally in his political life.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing when you look at this and you realize, okay, we've got midterm elections coming up. We've got Trump in this position where he already is not the most popular. There does not seem to be a win for him here with Iran. If he goes in and I mean, I guess if he takes some sort of an off-ramp deal, then he can spin it however he wants. But kind of as you were saying, Iran is in this position where they're like, sure, sure, the Strait of Hormuz is open, or sure, sure, we're not going to make a nuclear weapon. We don't want one. They've been saying that for a while now, and kind of presenting it to the US as like, hey, we'll make a deal with you, but you've got to work with us. Oh, and over here, Lebanon has to be part of the ceasefire. Well, meanwhile, Israel is launching a whole new assault on Lebanon today. I mean, just carrying out horrific attacks all across the South. When I see those headlines, I think, okay, the US is not serious about a deal whatsoever. How do you read kind of Israel's handling of it and what the US has allowed them to do?
Well, that's the thing. I think Bibi holds the whip hand, and he knows it. I don't know if it's the Epstein files or something even more extreme prejudice than that he can hold over Trump. But in any case, I don't think Trump can walk away. We hear that sometimes. The smart thing would be for Trump to walk away. I don't think he can do it. I don't think Israel would let him do it. Because they can always strike Iran, start the war again, and the political establishment in Washington, bipartisan, would not let him walk away and leave Israel to its fate. So you've got that problem. You've also got the problem, again, related to that you saw the reaction from not just, the Mark Levines, but also, Ted Cruz's and half the Republicans in the Senate, that you can't possibly accept a bad deal like this. So I think in a way he's thrashing around. He went to Beijing empty-handed, evidently tried to get the Chinese to help arrange the settlement here and didn't get much to show for it. Um, I think he's thrashing around and trying to jerk the Iranians around into some kind of thing he can sell as a deal that would pass muster back home, that the Israelis would not sabotage. And on the other hand, I think the Iranians are jerking him around in a way that the Russians have not jerked him around. I think the Iranians are playing this much smarter than he is, because I think the Iranians realize more than the Russians, and I don't know about the Chinese, that there's no deal they can sign with the United States that the United States will honor. And I think that's the fundamental reality of international life right now in all of these interrelated conflicts, that the word of the United States on an international agreement is essentially worthless. And as an American, I'm ashamed to say that, because that's the corner we've painted ourselves into. I think the Iranians understand that. I'm not sure about the Russians. Maybe they understand that, but Trump said it himself. We're pirates. The only morality, the only law I recognize is my own morality. Okay, all we've done is said the quiet part out loud. That was true under Biden. That was true under Trump one. It was true under the Bushes. I mean, it's the certainly was true under Clinton, and so we just have to accept the fact that that's the world we painted for ourselves. Steve Miller's right. It's the law of the jungle. Okay, fine. You want to play jungle? You can pretend to be the biggest cat in the jungle. You aren't necessarily, and certainly when it comes to places like way over on the other side of the world, I don't think they want to face those consequences. I think the Iranians are going to make us face those consequences.